Okay, so, we've gotten lots of people who are, one of their projects that they're interested in doing is doing a survey. And I wanted to just go over that with you. You've already sort of experimented really with how to get people to enter information, right? Because remember during HTML, one of your projects was having people submit information with a form, and we dealt with checkboxes and that sort of thing. So the big question, the startup question is, let's just say you want to create a web page where somebody can submit information to you. How can that be done? And one of the ways it can be done, an easy way, although it's not without error, because it's kind of it's not really something that most web pages. Let me just say this. This is not how when most web pages have information submitted, they don't use the method that I'm going to show you. But it's a quick and easy way to have the information that people submit be sent to you. Okay, and so let's go in here to this page, and let me just show you what I'm doing here. First, I'm going to show you how to have the information from your survey submitted to you via email. Then we're going to talk about other ways that it can be submitted, and then we're going to talk about how to make your survey a little bit more sophisticated. But given that some people might want to do this when they have just started doing style sheets, or maybe haven't even done JavaScript yet, I want to make it able to be used by multiple people. All right, so let's just start off with this basic form, okay? And what we have is, if you remember from HTML, you have your form method post. That means I'm going to post the results. And then action is, where do you want me to post these results? So one of the ways, the easiest startup way that you can get your results sent to you is to have it say action, and then rather than putting a web page, say mail to : and then put your email address in there. Now I have target equals blank, and the reason I have that is because when somebody submits the form, that will open up a new page as opposed to submitting it in the same page. But that's up to you. If you want to have it submit in the same page, you can do that. But remember, what this is doing is it's opening up whatever their email account is. All right. So this is not sending it to you behind the scenes, and you'll see this here in a second. It is sending the results. It's basically generating an email from their email account that they then have to press send to send to you. So I'm going to show that to you because it's the quick and dirty way to go. Then you see here I have input type text email. That actually is something for what we're going to do later. So you don't really need this on this first step. All you really need is if you want to have their name, right? And they're going to have the option about whether to show that to you or not. And then you put in your different options, and you can call them whatever you want, because all that's going to happen is it's going to pop up a pre-written email that they have to click send. So let's see how that works. All right. So I'm going to select Frozen. My name's Fraser, and I click submit survey results. Submit survey results. You see it loads it. It's under here. It's going down and opening up my email client. But all it's doing is basically, as a courtesy, creating an email and then pre-populating it with that information. Okay? And coming up. And coming up. And taking a long time. Okay. And so then you see it has this information. The person has to fill out this and then click submit. At that point, that information gets sent to you. All right. So that's one option. It creates an email that then has the results of the page in it. Is that what you want to happen? Well, another option is to have the results sent to you behind the scenes. Okay? And what that requires is, and this is where we start moving into how 98% of the websites work, is that you have to have a server. You have to have a computer that can handle taking information in, storing it, probably in a database, and also has the capacity to send messages out. So I'm going to give you access to my server so that what you can do is have you can create a survey, have them select their results, and then put their name in, and then you're going to put behind the scenes, you're going to put in what email address you want it to be sent to. Rather than doing a mail to, it's going to go to server email page, right? CFM is what I use, Cold Fusion, and it's going to send this information to this page the same way that when you did your original form, it was sent to a page, remember, and then it like showed you green dots if you had all the right elements in it. So this is going to send it to that page, but that page is going to have special logic, special programming in it that says, take this information and generate an email that goes out to you. Okay, so what this is going to do, and remember, this requires a page that I've created that connects with my server, that takes the results that the person submits and creates an email. So this is something that you aren't able to do just from scratch without having a backend server, but you can test it out, and there are lots of tools that you can use. It's just about creating it from scratch. All right. So survey email page is where I'm going to send the results. And that is a page. This language here is the CF mail is a tag that is specific to my server that's called a Cold Fusion server. And what that does is it says, create an email that's going to be sent from my email address to, and then what it does is it takes a variable, form email. And these hashtags are how Cold Fusion is told that this is a variable. So it says form, whatever the value from the email is. We want it to have the subject of survey results. And then what I have to do, because of making sure that I have permission to send these emails, is I'm sending specific values to my server, basically logging in. I'm saying, go to this server, log in using this username, log in using this password. These all come from another file. Don't get too hung up on that, because this is something that I built for you, okay, to test, just to see how this process works. And then, but because it says form.visitorName, then it's going to say whatever value is in the visitor name field, right? I want that to be sent here, and then whatever the selection results are, I want to be in the body of the text. So it's really sending you the same information that happens with that action mail to, but this happens behind the scenes. This doesn't require the user to send the information. It happens without their involvement. Okay, so what we can do is we can just test that. Remember, I built this for you to use just to understand this concept. I don't really want you out there using this as your survey, because if you just want to give a quick survey, then you probably can just use the send to the mail to tool. And if you want to do a more complicated survey, then we can talk about what's the process for you getting a server that can handle this, and you can start programming these types of things yourself. Okay, I had to make a few changes to the survey email page just so they reflected. One is the variable was a little bit different. Two, as I had a disconnect, I had this as survey results, but it's called survey selection in the form. And that's important, right? Because what you need to do is make sure that whatever you have as the name of the fields, the names of the field here, name, email, name, visitor name, survey selection, those need to be consistent with what the page is receiving. Because all the page is saying is whatever you give me, I'm gonna plug into these. I'm going to plug into this area here, and if you don't send a form email, you're going to get an error. If you don't give a visitor name, you're going to get an error. Okay, and so that's why a lot of times we'll create some checks. But right now we just want to show how that works. And so right here, if I click, I'll refresh this, and I'll say send to Fraser's laptop, and I'll say Fraser, and I'll say frozen or what have you, and click submit survey results. It sends it up, Paige processes it, and then it takes me to the information, the text that happens afterwards. So it took that amount of time to run this code. I also put in these outputs just to change these variables, so don't worry about that. That's all on my end. And let's just see. I'm going to pause this, and I'll just see if I can go in there and get the results of that survey. So I'm in my inbox, and you can see that I have these results, and it just shows up as, I didn't put any of elaborate stuff, but it says who it's from and what the results are. So that's how that process works.